What's up? Thanks for coming back through. So, I'm conflicted about this one because this shoe is amazing in concept, and I was really wanting it to explode for me. I was wanting it to be the one. I was wanting it to live up to the hype of other CLIMACOOLs that I've had over the years. I was really wanting this one to work for me, and it still might. But I gotta say, right off top, the first couple of wears, oh my goodness, it was pretty harsh, man. It was pretty harsh. Today we are talking about the adidas CLIMACOOL. It's a beautiful shoe. It's technologically superior. A full-length 3D printed shoe. Complete with air louvers, complete with lacing, complete with toe cap design. Everything you could want in a shoe is here. It's absolutely insane. It even has patterning in the outsole to take durability to the next level based on strike zones and walking patterns, and it's amazing. And it hurt the ball of my foot like hell. So we're going to get into it. We're going to do the review. And then we're just going to talk about what could possibly have made it better, because I don't really know. I think that when Adidas does these things, they push the story forward. They push the narrative forward in such a good way. But when you purchase some of the more avant-garde, forward-thinking Adidas gear, it's not always going to work right away. You know, I've got 4D shoes that were crazy and uncomfortable. And then I've got 4D shoes that came 3 years later that were absolutely comfortable, absolutely incredible, and you can see the DNA. This has CLIMACOOL DNA, but this is still an avant-garde step forward to try to get to the future of footwear, printed footwear, no foam. The lattice work is all 3D printed. So the comfort's not there. So those saying that it's comfortable, God bless your feet, man, because it's not there for me. Upper midsole, outsole, like we always do, and this time they're all in one. Crazy. I will say this is the CLIMACOOL LACED, which has a tongue and makes the entry into the shoe a little bit easier. However, I did have trouble with socks because this is a rubbery material. I don't know. Some people are saying you can get your sock into it just fine. I could not. It was bunching. It was uncomfortable. Upper. It's all one. So we're going to mush this in all together. The upper is designed by having the semblance of sidewall and the lattice work, which you can see even better right there. That crisscross lattice work is not just flat. If I can angle this just the right way, you can see it. It almost looks like crops. How it twists and turns and actually juts out into a 3D pattern. It's amazing for channeling air. It really is. Like, it's breathable like crazy. Now, when you do have things like toe cap right there, you can see how it opens up and twists. Like, this thing is a beautiful avant-garde technological marvel. I wish it had the comfort to match the technology, because this thing is crazy. There are points where the 3D printing is closed off completely. Then there are other points that start to channel the airflow, and they're actually very deep. Those grooves are very deep in there. I love how they filled in the Adidas stripes there. Those Adidas stripes come through in a lenticular sort of way. Like, as you move the shoe, you start to identify them a little bit better. That is great visual design. Some of us, our pinkies are going to smash right up against that hard part right there, and we're gonna struggle. My pinky toe was struggling a little bit with that. Not bad enough to actually give it a bad score on that angle, because the top of the toe is like that too, kind of a shell toe type of thing. But it was comfy until I got to that part. That right there is hard. It's filled in. It's just one thick chunk of 3D printing. Lacing system goes right up the center there. The lace holes, everything is one piece. It is all integrated. Now the cool thing, this was the really cool thing, and it's hard to show. Hold tight. So you can see it here. This is amazing. It is a floating tongue. That's how they get a tongue on a 3D printed shoe. It is attached here at the front by the main cross member of the lace. It hooks in and then floats as you crisscross the laces into the shoe. The tongue is left hovering. Innovation, man. Like, that's absolutely crazy. That's beautiful. There are going to be so many more components of this shoe that get used in other things. This is where consumers have to be honest and not just hype driven. As soon as they can solve the comfort, they need real feedback. Because if we just hype beast in here and say, oh my God, these are so amazing, they're not going to fix the comfort. The bottom of the shoe, there is no insole, okay? Now, I could probably get an insole in there, much like I've had to do with other CLIMACOOL type shoes. Does it mess up the breathability? A bit. Does it enhance the comfort? A lot. So having no insole in there, if you're wearing them barefoot, having no insole puts you straight up against this Swiss cheese bottom. Let me move these laces here. Okay. That Swiss cheese bottom goes all the way through to the front of the shoe. Again, let me use the open model to show you. All right. So see that in there? That is terrible on the ball of my foot. And I was so mad. I powered through because I'm like, maybe it gets better. Maybe my foot is sensitive. You know, new shoes. Let's try them. Man, that hurt. Man, that hurt. And you can see you're on a pressure spot where they filled it in. So it's not as comfortable. It's not as squishy. It doesn't move as much up and down to give you that plush comfort. So it was just shoving right back. It was like being barefoot on concrete for me. The heel section was great. And again, I know these are all mushed in together, but we're talking upper midsole, outsole on a shoe that has none or all of it in one. Another really cool thing is a lot of the contours that you would get from padding are actually created by what I was saying, by the parts of the shoe that are sticking out or in. So there's a bump right here where there would usually be some collar padding. I'll see if I can get to it. It's stunning. It's beautiful design. Yeah, you can see it right there. It's absolutely amazing how they made that contour there against the back, against the inside of the shoe, almost like it had cloth. That part felt great. Strangely enough, the part I was worried about with these shoes was the rubbing, because I knew I was going to try to wear these without socks, because I knew the material would rub. It would snag. It would catch the sock. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible that they contoured the inside of a shoe to have bumps and contours of cloth. And it's plush. It's plush. Look at that. You can see it move. This is stunning. Oh man, I can't tell you how crazy these shoes really are. When you know about shoe manufacturing, when you know about the process of designing and manufacturing footwear, the ability to print a workable shoe that has the contours and functionality of an actual piece of cloth, man, like people are talking about AI. I'm looking at this like, wow. They took slices of rubber and made it into a working piece of imaginary cloth that's not really a textile. God, that's just crazy. The arch in the shoe is formed the same way. And again, the only drawback from this, they were comfy, comfy, comfy. I had no rubbing. I had no problems, no blisters, no nothing with that upper straight against my skin. It's kind of a velvety, soft rubber. It's still rubber. It still feels like a rubberized material. But it was really good against the skin, except for that hot spot at the pinky toe where the Adidas stripes are, and the ball of my foot where it was pressing into those holes. I'm gonna try it with the thinnest insole I could possibly find, like a Dr. Scholl's or something like that, and see if I can get that comfort to come way, way up, because this is too beautiful a shoe, and the rest of it was too comfortable for me to ditch it completely. Let's talk midsole. As if it's really a midsole. It's not. It's still the shoe. In that first 4D, they did not compress. Hold tight. This is one of the earlier Future Crafts. In these first 4D shoes, you were just rolling on that cage. You weren't really compressing it very much. It rolled nicely. It actually moved laterally and horizontally much better than it did up and down. The compression was really, really rough. Still love them. God, these are good. That's what we're back to here. We're back to that point where they're figuring out, how do we make this work? If I'm wearing them like dress shoes, if I'm wearing them casually, that doesn't bother me near as much as performance. But it needs to have some compression. I think they're going to improve that later. It's so crazy what they did with that heel section. You can see where there should be an outsole and a midsole. It's beautiful how they executed that. You can see the crash points. You can see where it's going to be a little more durable. I was indoors most of the day, walking on tiled floors, those kind of things. You'll see that I got a few rocks in there. And they do catch. I got to dig them out. Again, if you're trying to solve that equation without putting something on where you want to say this shoe was completely made from a durable rubber that you can walk on, that can also be the top, that can also be the upper and the midsole, there's a lot of problems to solve with this. This is just a first blush. I anticipate that this is going to get way better. The other thing is there's not a lot of room. I don't understand what people are saying when they say they can get into this with a sock. I truly do not understand that. I tried the absolute most paper thin sock that I have, to the point where like it's just a little booty, like a little stocking almost, and it could rip just trying to shove it into this shoe. And it gripped the sides. I could barely get my toes in the front. It was hurting to get all of that material bunched up. I don't get it when people say they can wear it with socks. I really, truly don't. So if you can, drop in the comments and let me know what your experience was. That was not mine. A huge step forward. Not quite there yet, though, at least not in my opinion. But keep working on it, Adidas. We love it. This is beautiful. And it's definitely going to be a statement piece. It's going to stay in my collection forever. This is the first of a new line. This is the first of a way of thinking. This is the first blush at something that we've never seen done before. And I don't think the majority of people are giving it that kind of credit. I think a lot of people are kind of just on the hype train of it. But this is avant-garde. This is something totally new that we have never seen executed quite this way. And some people are going to say Crocs and this and that. No, those are injection molded, cheap pairs of trash. You can love them all you want, but they're trash. This is a 3D printed shoe that is definitely pushing footwear forward. Let me know in the comments if you've got a pair. Let me know what you think of them. Again, honest review. Bought them myself. Love them. But we got to work it out a little bit more. All right. Appreciate you coming through. Peace.